everybody. It's Dale and Mary.
Hey everybody, this is the third episode of Dating Married.
Hello everyone, so glad to see y'all again. Talk to y'all again.
So we're gonna go ahead and continue our series about how we met. But before we get started, we want to talk about our event that we had this Saturday, our first ever Dating Married pull up, and that's the name we just came up with on the fly. So if you didn't see it earlier, you're seeing it today. We're now calling our monthly meetings Dating Married the Pull Up.
Yes. And just to briefly talk about that, pull up is just getting a whole bunch of couples together and we all just having a good time, talking, laughing, and that's the point of this whole thing, this whole podcast, is us just doing everything together.
Yep. Like we said before, our vision was to be able to create a community of married and engaged couples getting together, sharing ideas, having a good time, dating, and just having fun. Just build a community where we have just a group of encouraging and great thoughts being shared. It's already hard enough being in a relationship, but when you're surrounded by like-minded couples who want to see you succeed, you just increase the odds of just you guys being successful. So we really wanted to do that, and we feel like this could be a great help. And I can't think of anyone doing what we're doing right now.
I agree.
So we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna continue on with our series about getting to know us. You want to go ahead and start off?
Yeah, sure. So last podcast we did have some technical difficulties and I was on a roll, and when you told me late on that night that we had some technical difficulties, I was about to cry because it was either one, we do the podcast over again, or we just say, hey, let's put it out there and then finish the conversation later.
Yeah, and so what happened was we ended up just putting out the audio, the video version of it is up, but also the audio version, the full version is up on Google and working on Apple, but also on SoundCloud. So you can go listen to the full story there if you would like. But we're going to kind of start off where we ended on the video for our YouTube subscribers.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so where we ended at was I was talking about basically Dale being that guy for me. If I recall, I talked about just how the processes that I went through prior to being with Dale, me getting over my ex, me trying to heal from that, me basically living on my own, doing all those kind of things, and not just, I know, to kind of clear up what I said earlier was, I know I mentioned that it was a waste of time, but it wasn't a waste of time. Just me personally, I think that if a person is not for you, you need to let that person go. If you feel like you're not moving forward, I think that is something a person should do. During that time, it was a little bit of time, maybe the first few years, where I felt like that. I felt like, this is who I want to spend the rest of my life with, and things like that. But the more I started to grow and become the person I was destined to be, and I want to, I'm venturing out, I'm doing all types of different things that has shaped me today. And when that person is like, nah, like, you growing and you changing is bad, that hindered me from my success and everything that I am right now. So anyways, and when I started dating Dale, and the fact that I could open up to him and tell him everything I was going through, everything that was on my mind, and him not judge me, or him not run from me, or look at me like I was a problem, or, oh, she has too much baggage, or probably not even baggage, but just, you're having a hard time, or you're going through a rough time and everything like that. That really, really made me feel special, knowing that he cared, and he genuinely cared about me and about how I felt. And I really, really like that.
With me catching off the rebound, which sounds crazy to say. I mean, it was rough in a sense. Like, I knew what I wanted as far as the qualities I had in a person. But whenever you catch someone who just got over a heartbreak and, is still used to their ex and their ways and the modes and stuff, like, it can be difficult, but it was something that I saw like the end goal. You know what I'm saying? And so there were times where it was rough, where I'm having to not talk her out of getting back with an ex, but basically reassure her that everything's gonna be okay. That just kind of reminding her that you didn't want to be with them in the first place. Just that healing process is gonna take a while. And so while I don't advise getting or trying to be with someone during the whole healing process and kind of being rebound, in my case it luckily worked out for me to where we ended up getting married. But there were some tough times, some tough talks, and just kind of just being that shoulder she can cry on, which is weird because you're trying to pull this girl, but she's over here crying about a different nigga. So
yeah, I was definitely wrong for that, but
yeah, but I mean, it ended up working out.
Mm-hmm.
So how did you feel while we were in the relationship after the breakup period, and it was just finally just me and you? Like, how did you take it? How did you like it? What do you remember?
I felt like I was at peace. You know how I kept telling you, like, I feel content, I feel happy, I feel content, I feel happy, and you'd be like, you're not supposed to be content, like, remember that?
Yeah.
So that's how I felt. I felt very content, and I felt very, very happy. I felt like that was what my life was supposed to be. I felt like being with Dale is where I was supposed to be at, and it wasn't. Yeah, it was that fresh new feeling and everything, but we kind of went really, really hard starting off. Usually you don't cry on a person's shoulder and about somebody else, or if ever, but just crying and just me letting everything out on the table so soon, that usually don't happen till way, way later. So I was very honest and outspoken when it came to my feelings with Dale. Now I will say, like, damn, Allison, why was you like that? Why did you voice your opinion so much? Because I definitely at the time I didn't think about his feelings up until me and you hit that little patch, like 3 or 4 months in.
Yeah. And
then that's when I was like, what, this man really cares about me. He really, really wants what's best for me. And Allison, you deserve him. And for the longest, I always felt like, oh, I don't deserve love. I don't know why I thought that. But I just felt like I did not deserve love. I didn't deserve somebody to make me happy. And I didn't deserve somebody to hold my hand through the good times and the bad times. I don't know why I thought that. And I'm sure it'll come to mind when that time comes. Or, I'm going to kind of rack my brain. Maybe I need to dig a little deeper. It could be because of my upbringing. I don't know. It could be because of what I've seen when I was a kid growing up. But I really felt that way. But that day that me and you almost called it quits or whatnot, I was like, no. You deserve him. And don't ever tell yourself, for the people out there, don't ever tell yourself that you don't deserve something. You deserve everything in the world that God places in front of you.
You want to talk about the rough patch, since we're being honest with them?
Yeah, we can talk about it, yeah.
So I ended up, was it a surprise or did I tell you we were going to Austin?
We were going to Austin.
So I told her we were going to Austin.
We were planning to go to Austin.
Okay, so it was a planned trip, and it was around the 4th of July.
We had so much fun.
And me personally, I've never been out of my city for 4th of July, but I thought it would be like a good adventure. But of course, she wasn't over her ex, but she was fine with having a nice getaway. So we'll go out there, we're having a good time. We see the Capitol. We go to 6th Street, we kind of hang out a little bit. We visit Nice Kicks, which is based out in Austin, and I'm a huge sneakerhead, so that's one of the places I really wanted to go. Mm-hmm. We just spent the entire weekend out there, and so on our way back, we also wasn't the time we almost broke up, was it?
We came back from Austin. We almost broke up.
It wasn't Oklahoma?
It was Oklahoma. That's right.
Yeah, it was Oklahoma.
This man met my parents. Okay, we almost broke up.
we almost broke up because we met in March. And I met your parents June, July? Yeah. No, it was after July. So it had to have been like August. Yeah. So I met her parents in August for the first time, which is, phone timeline, pretty hella fast. But
I knew he was the one, honey, okay?
But on our way back from visiting her parents from Oklahoma, which is like the worst state ever, sorry guys, I ended up pulling up to her apartment and having a long talk with her, or she stopped me and was like, hey, we'll go ahead and have a talk. And around that time, she was like, yeah, I don't think this is going to work. And I'll let you explain why.
I was scared. I felt like I was moving too quickly. I felt like I wanted to make sure that my head was as clear as possible before I moved into a new relationship. But even though I felt that way, the hard part was because Dale had already took in my heart. He already had it. So for me to say, okay, give me my heart back, I didn't have the strength to do that, because I felt like my heart was meant for him to carry. And that was after me kind of really hearing you, and then me really thinking like, okay, Allison, like, what are you doing? Like, really, what are you doing? And so, and that was the reason why. It's because I had already fallen in love with him. So I didn't want to take my heart back, because I already knew Dale was that guy for me. And that just, like I told you last podcast, that rings in my head all the time, that moment. Because it's a lot of things in life that you're going to be kind of like, oh no, should I go this way? Or should I go that way? I don't know. I did not feel that with Dale. And I'm a very indecisive person. Babe. I'm very indecisive. I do not ever get my thoughts together. And that's where he comes in at to kind of break that down for me. And like, okay, what you want to do? How you want to do this? Okay, pick something, stick with it. That's that guy to get me straight. So that was when me and you first started talking, and we had that long talk and everything. And when I left him and I was going home, and again, that's when it was spoken out loud to me that was supposed to be my husband, that Dale was my husband. Never, ever, ever have I had that feeling. Never, ever, ever. Like, even with Nayana, and I love my baby to death.
I mean, she can't be your husband, but okay.
But you know what I'm saying? Like, no. Shut up. Shut up. But just you're trying to, you like right now, have kids or don't have kids, focus on our career, or be a stay-at-home mom, or like, it wasn't like that with him. It was just like, boom, this is what it is. This is who you're supposed to be with. No questions, buts, thoughts, nothing. It wasn't like that, and that's the reason why I stayed and not broke up with him, was because of that. Because I really felt like that was what we were supposed to be. That's what I'm supposed to be with.
Yeah, and I can agree. And while I was heartbroken for the 20 minutes she told me why she didn't want to be together, like, before the talk was over, she ended up changing her mind. So it was just like, all right, I don't get this nigga at all. But yeah, we ended up staying together. And how was it? Because I remember it, like, when you're still in the honeymoon phase where, like, everything is great. Like, she's not taking dumps around you, and she's not farting, and she's not doing, like, none of the, like, the crazy things. Like, everything is awesome, getting to know her. And I remember it was around that time where, I remember telling my mom I knew I was going to marry Allison, like, the week before I met her parents. And I remember going to my mom. She worked at a hospital. And I was just like, I'm going to marry this girl. Like, I knew in my heart this was the girl I was supposed to marry. And so, I'm 23 at the time, still in the prime of my whole phase and everything. And it's just like, I knew I didn't want to give my body away to anybody else. I knew I didn't want to, be on the phone caked up with anybody else. I knew it was the person I wanted to be with.
You didn't want to be running these streets.
I might have run the streets like that, but yeah. But regardless, like, I knew this is just who I wanted. And so when I got her, I had no intentions of losing her. So, that's basically me in a nutshell about how I knew with Allison. But when we got together, things, I'm not going to say things changed, but it was just like, okay, I got her, now what? And, like, guys who've been in my situation who can say they got the girl of their dreams, it's always a constant battle of how can you outdo yourself. You know what I'm saying? Like, one week you're taking her out ice skating, and then the next day you're like, all right, I need to be ice skating, and then the next trip you're taking her to the moon. You're just like, okay, well, how is it gonna be taking her to the moon? It's like it's you're always in competition with yourself, and I just wanted to prove to her that one, not only she get over her ex was, you know, being probably one of the best decisions of her life, but it's just like I want to show to you each and every day like how much I love you and I appreciate you. And
well, I felt that. You gave me that look. I did. I felt that in my heart. My heart skipped a beat.
This girl. And so, yeah. So, you want to talk about how we stayed together and how we like handled certain things? Like, what did your parents think of me?
They loved you.
I know they did, but they don't know that.
Okay, my parents loved him. They felt like he was good for me. You know. I think one thing that my mom told me is the way Dale looked at me, the way he admired me, the way he was just like, he was really googly eyed over me. And my mama was like, yeah, he loves you, you know, like he really, really loves you. And he good for you, you know, and he respects you and everything like that. So my parents, for the most part, they really liked him. And my dad is very quiet. He's not a talker. That he loved that Dale didn't talk. Like, my husband is very, very calm and very, very quiet when he in certain situations, but when he gets around with people, he just wild and crazy. But that was one thing that my dad really liked about him, was that he was real cool and calm. He didn't talk too much, and my parents don't really care for people who talk too much, even though I talk a lot. But yeah, so yeah, they liked you a lot. What about your parents?
So, my dad isn't a big talker. So, even to this day, I don't know how my dad feels about Allison. But he does.
He loves me.
I know he loves you, but he'll never, like, outwardly say it. Like, he'll say, I love you, but then it's not like, he's not a real, like, affectionate type. But with me being African, my mother's biggest fear was me bringing home a person who wasn't receptive of our culture and kind of our ways. And with Allison, my mom felt fully comfortable that she was willing to accept like how we did things and how we kind of move and handle different situations. And so that really put my mother at ease. Another one of my mother's biggest fears is that she takes her son away from her, in the sense of like try to divide the family. And that's been the opposite. Allison's actually been the person who's like creates the family outings, the trips, the birthdays and the holidays, and getting everything set up for that. Whenever my mother needs help, or even my mom's looking for me, she'll call Allison first to like see how I'm doing. And like, I'm not gonna say they're best friends, but it's like my mother gained a daughter in Allison, and I think that's one thing that my mom does appreciate and she does love about you.
Oh, that's sweet. I love her too. She's my girl. She's my girl. But I know when I met you, that was one of the things that you told me, that he wanted somebody that was very family oriented, and I'm very family oriented, like very, very, very family oriented. So when I did get into Dale's family, I was going through some strenuous stuff with my own family. So when I did get into Dale's family, it's just like they took me in, and we just kind of clinged to each other, like really, really tight. So I'm very, very close to like my sister-in-laws and my brother-in-laws, and like my sister-in-law coming over tomorrow. Hey girl, because we hang out every Thursday. We hang out every Thursday, and we have like really good deep conversations. And like I really do adore them, and they can always call me for something. I can always call them for things. And so we vent, we talk, we laugh. I think I've only been the only one that cried, but I have a really good relationship with his family. And of course I love my family all the same. It's just different. It's a dialect, a different vibe, you know, compared to my own family, you know. And so and just how they just was very how they just kind of brought me in, you know. That made me really, really happy. And so I got close to them so fast that I felt like I felt complete. I felt like this is my family. This is not my. I hate the word sister-in-law sometimes, or the word brother-in-law, because I literally look at them as my brothers and my sisters, because we've gotten so close over the years, and it just kind of worked itself out and everything when it came to mending our families together. And of course, I'm trying to get my family all on the same accord so that we all can be together. So, which I'm looking forward to some future events with all of us. So that'll be fun.
Yep. Speaking of families, we say this before, we do have a young daughter, but she was conceived and born before we got married. And so let's go ahead and talk about how that all came about.
Dale was tearing it up. That's what it was.
Wow. That was in those guts. So with my daughter, she was conceived around the time that we were going to Austin 8th. This was the third time? We've been to Austin a bunch of times. But it was right before we went to South by Southwest.
Yeah.
And so...
this story's going to crack me up.
So this was in March. I remember around April, like 2 weeks before my birthday, Allison said she was missing Aunt Flo. Aunt Flo hadn't come by in a while. And so I was like, okay, well. And I'm always a calm person. I'm relaxed. At the time, I was still in school. I was still in school. But I was taking one more class to get my degree. And when she told me, like, I freaked out a bit, but it wasn't like a full blown out.
Why didn't you freak out? Like, you were so calm at that moment until we actually found out we were pregnant.
Yeah.
Because we talked on the phone.
Yeah, we talked on the phone. I mean, I've been through pregnancy scares before, and so.
Not for me.
No. But at the same time, it's like, I don't want to freak out quite early. Like, if it's nothing, then you just wasted the whole freak out session over nothing. But when she told me, it was like, all right, well, I'll just wait. So I convinced her just to relax. You know, I probably pushed it back with my antics. And, no, not yet. If you hear the dryer, we're drying clothes. So,
yeah, okay. Thank you for clearing that up.
But, so, you know, kind of getting back to that. So when she told me she hadn't seen Aunt Flo, it was kind of late. I was like, all right, we'll wait. Like, let's just see how this all plays out. Then at the time, she was working as a server at one of the dining restaurants that she was working at. And she told me when she came home one day, it was just like, hey, yeah, I left my shift early. I was like, why? She's like, well, I threw up. Red flag. So I was like, okay, she really might be pregnant. But I just left it alone. I was like, all right, you know, maybe she's just really sick. Like, nothing to worry about. She went to work the next day, and she had the same thing. I threw up. Second red flag. I said, all right, nah, this may be enough. Have you had your period yet? No, not yet. You should go get a test.
I told you I was going to get a test.
Yeah, but we both knew that you were going to test.
But I don't remember throwing up before that. I remember I walked into work and that Italian food smacked me dead in my face.
Mm-hmm.
And then when I got off work that day, I called you and I said, I'm going to go get a pregnancy test because just to make sure we're good. Like she was going on. But honestly, I wasn't scared. I wasn't like the conversations that you and I had prior to getting the pregnancy test and everything. Because me and him was supposed to move in together, and it didn't happen because we wanted to take things slow. Slow and out the way.
Want to do it the Christian way. Wait till we got married and all that.
Right. Yeah, that went out the way real quick. Okay, because I was pregnant. But the conversations that we had on the phone, like, I was excited. I was like, wow. Don't get me wrong. If I'm not pregnant, okay, that's a good thing. We're young. We're babies, you know, like 23 years old, 22, 23. So at that time, I'm like, I still was okay because I knew me and Dale loved each other. And because that foundation was already planted there, I knew we were going to be fine. So I did not worry about it. And I just kind of felt like, if this is what God has given us, then this is what we had. Don't get me wrong, we kind of gave it to ourselves. But still, you know, it's here. Let's make stuff happen, you know, like if it comes. And I went, he met me at my apartment or our apartment or whatever, and walked in the house, and I went and peed on the stick, and I left it on the table. God, I remember it like this yesterday. I remember what I had on and everything. Left it on the bathroom sink, and I said, oh, okay, it's going to take like 3 minutes for it to come back. And we sat on the couch. I think I was up maybe in a minute, a minute and 30 seconds, and went to the bathroom, and it was 2 lines. And to mind you, you know, that second line a little tricky, okay? Because it's there, but it's not there. Like, you see a full 1 line, but then the other line kind of shaded in just a little bit. But I seen it, and I said, I was like, I'm pregnant. And I screamed his name. I was like, damn! And I walked out there, and I was like, I'm pregnant. And I busted out crying. But then I got it together, and I was like, oh my God, I'm carrying a child. Like, that was just like the coolest thing to me, knowing that I was carrying a baby in my stomach. Like, I was just like, God, like, you gave this to me. Like, my goodness, this is a blessing. And that's how I looked at it. I looked at it like it was a blessing. Like, it was everything to me. Ever since I got pregnant with her, all the way up until now, that girl motivates me to do everything under the sun, and I get stuff done with this one, okay? When it came to graduating college, when it came to just us following, like, being parents, like, and we took that very, very serious. Like, as soon as we knew we was pregnant with her, we're like, all right, let's get our stuff together. All right, let's get ready for her.
Yeah, but I was terrified.
Oh no,
I was absolutely terrified.
Well, now I got to.
So I was terrified because now, I don't want to say my worst dreams came true, but I've always been, every situation I've been in, whether it was good or bad, I've always been prepared for. But how do you prepare for a baby if you've never had one before? You know what I'm saying? And so while I knew I wanted to marry Allison, like, I'm a planner, and this was not part of the plan at all. So she's telling me she's pregnant. I'm reading the instructions. I'm like, all right, well, the second line is kind of faint. Let me go ahead and read the instructions just to be clear. And the instruction says, if you see a second line, no matter how faint or strong that line is, you're pregnant.
Oh, you read that?
Yeah, I read it. I had to be sure.
I didn't know you had read it.
I read that like 4 times. I even held it up to the light. And so when I seen it, I was just like, damn, okay. And so I remember we went and told her mom. We went and told her parents first, like right after.
And y'all, I'm in the car happy as hell. I'm jumping around. I'm like, oh my God, I gotta tell somebody. And Dale looking like he about to throw up. Okay?
I was like, I literally felt like I had the swine flu that day. Like I was ill. As you could tell, I'm dark on the screen. I was pale as a light-skinned person. Like, I was like, if I could have ended my life right then and there, I could have. And so we pulled up to her house, and she talks to her mom, and the mom's all hell excited. The dad's excited. Her brothers and sisters are excited, and I'm on the couch just bawling in front of them. And they're like, you know, you're gonna be okay. Everything's gonna be fine. And in my head, like, I'm bawling because I'm about to have a kid, but then I'm bawling because I know my mom's finna kill me.
She's gonna strangle you.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
And so I didn't tell my mom until like the next day, and I didn't even tell my mom. So this is April. I ended up going to my house and talking to my dad, and my dad actually took it pretty well for what I expected. He didn't yell or nothing. He was just like, "Well, son." And this is literally how my dad is. My dad is the super cool guy, like super not cool, but
That's
like
where you get it from, babe.
Yeah, he's super calm about everything. But he was sitting at the kitchen table. I believe he was like just drinking wine or whatever. And I said, "Hey, I gotta tell you something." He was like, "What's up?" I was like, "Well, Allison's pregnant," and this is literally like he was just like, "Your life's about to get really, really hard." And that was our pregnancy talk. And
that was it?
That was it. Yeah, it wasn't. My dad's just like me in the sense of he's a guy of not a lot of words, but his words carry weight. And so he's not going to waste his words. It's not going to be a long talk.
Sure does.
It's just going to be, hey, you're going to have to work really hard now. So good luck to you. And I remember leaving the house, just getting like a weight just got lifted up off me. But at the same time, it's like, all right, I got to prepare for my son or my daughter coming in this world, because there are things that I want to do and have things set up for them. And mind you, I just graduated college. I'm working an entry-level job. How am I going to be able to provide for not only just Allison, but then my seed as well?
Do you think your dad was right about that, though?
Heck yeah, life got hella hard. Life has always been easy for me. I've never really struggled. I've never been put in bad situations. Life wasn't a tough obstacle. But now I had to care for not only myself, which was easy, but then caring for Allison, which makes it harder. And then now caring for another baby, which makes things like even harder. And so it just takes an extra level of planning. And with money not being everything, but being the thing that you need.
Do you think it's hard now?
Still hard, yeah. Because there's things you still have to plan for. There's things that you still have to do. You're managing a relationship. You're managing a child. On top of that, you're still learning about yourself, and you're learning about who you are and what you want to become, and learning about just life. Like, there's not a manual on life. So every situation's a new learning opportunity. And so
It's true. I didn't think it was hard though. Since me and you have been together, I never looked at our baby as like, God, having her is hard. I think that when it comes to us together, I think that's difficult. I think because we're still learning so much about each other, but if it was just her over to the right and everything else, I'm like, okay, that's hard. But I never looked at her as she was hard. I mean, it's just a different perspective than yours,
Yeah, that's true.
That's really what it is.
It was a new challenge. I'm still sticking by the fact that it was hard having her, because there were things that I had to, you have to grow up fast. You know what I'm saying? So while the 20s is your time for you to figure yourself out and, kind of struggle and be broke, I had to do all that while managing my daughter and raising her where I wanted to be, and also managing a relationship. And so it was a struggle, but in the midst of it, I was able to balance out everything out and kind of handle that on the fly. And unlike my dad in the sense of where you're never going to see me sweat, you're not going to see me freak out, and everything has a plan and a purpose to it. Mm-hmm. But there were times where I'm driving to work with tears in my eyes and just how am I going to get through the day, or how am I going to get out of this situation? But by the time I hasn't seen me, the plan was already in motion. I already thought out what I needed to do. So I just really make things look easy. As difficult as things are, I'm the type of guy to always have a positive outlook about it, and just take the nail and keep on moving. But yeah.
I think that's kind of how you and I both are, because we do get a lot of people who tell us, oh my God, you and Dale look so easy, you guys don't go through nothing, blah, blah, blah. And I handle my situations exactly the same way too. I'm really good. I'm very optimistic. And I think maybe that's kind of what has gotten us really far, is because times that we probably wanted to just throw everything away, or we probably got a certain hint in our mind that we wanted to, something always worked in its favor, for us, and we just kind of take things as they come. We do try to plan ahead. We do that. We consider the worst thing possible, and kind of take that and make sure that we don't go through that. And then also when we pay attention to we're low-key people watchers. Like, we watch different couples, we watch different situations, and we're like, that's not going to be Allison and Dale.
Yeah, I would
Like,
judge
we are
the mess out of it swiftly too. I know the Bible says don't judge a book. No. I judged it. I ripped through the pages. I looked at it. I took notes. I laughed and I kept it pushing. But no, I'm judging it. And like I say it in
Hate to say it, but yeah.
No, I don't hate to say it. I don't care. But I say it in the sense of like I can learn from people's mistakes. And I've always been a person to kind of get wisdom from others, whether it's through their actions or through their words. And so I'd watch people's stories and see what they're going through and be able to, once again, plan and adjust through their rewards and their failures. And so I did that with the friends who had kids or the friends who had relationships who said like didn't work and things of that nature. And I formed my own opinion and moved off those opinions and either turn them into law or turn them into like methods into our relationship. But yeah, everything was just a learning experience.
Yeah. And we always like sit down and talk about like, what do you think about this couple, like, or what do you think about this person, like, what do you think about the situation and what can we do? Just, you use people's struggles as a motivation for yourself, and there's nothing wrong with that. You wanting to do something different, and that's just how Dale and I are. But also we take the good in different people and the good in different couples, and we kind of form also on how we want to be, and what we want for ourselves, because we do have a lot of couples around us. We have like your parents, we have cousins, we have a lot of couples around us, and we just take it for what it is. And every couple is different. No couple will ever be the same. Ever. Your struggles is going to be completely different than our struggles. It will never be the same. But it's okay to take the good, the bad, and the ugly from different situations and tying it to what you want for your relationship. There's nothing wrong with that.
No relationship's going to look the same, but you can take bits and pieces of many relationships and make it your own relationship. And so that's one thing that I've used in life, not just for relationships, but like in my job search, in my life, spiritual, just anything. If I like it, I use it. If I don't like it, I make sure I don't do it. So that's something that we plan on doing here for others. You may not agree with our methods or what we say or how we view or do things, but I do feel like a message will be taken away regardless, and what you do with that message is up to you.
Okay. Alrighty. Well, that's how we met, and that is us after having Nayana, or during the time we had her.
Yep. So next episode, we'll talk about how we got married and how our relationship adjusted from being just a relationship to now a marriage or a union.
And stuck like glue.
Yep. And then from there, so that'll be next week. And then moving forward, we're going to stick to the schedule of 2 video podcasts a week.
Oh, gosh.
Or not a week, I'm sorry. 2 video podcasts a month. I'm sorry. We are starting school.
And I'm not ready for that either.
Yeah.
We can do it though.
We had a good break.
It was amazing.
But we still plan on pumping out content once a week for you guys. We do have a couple in mind for the couple spotlight. We have a fun event for the pull up. So I think the month of September will be something that you guys like and enjoy. So while this was the building block, we're about to take it and go running. So
now we are going to discuss our current date that we had with the pull up, and we're going to discuss that a little bit. Anyway, so we were discussing the pull up. So we just recently had our pull up this past Saturday. It was so fun. Okay, so fun. And if you missed it, we have another event coming up in September, so we do want you guys to come out. How you want to start off talking about that, the pull-up?
So for this event, we ended up having a breakfast. We wanted to be able to come out and meet the couples that came out. We met the couple that came out, But we ended up having a good time just talking about like different things and their experience in their relationship, kind of sharing our college stories and
We
things.
kind of got really like on a sexual topic.
Yeah.
And that was a really good conversation.
That was. It makes you look at them in a different light. But
We love y'all though.
but I mean, regardless, we had a good time. We had fun, and it was just one of those things where.
It was good vibes, good communication.
Yeah,
Like,
it was just fun. It was just a breath of fresh air. And so our next event is gonna be a good one. We'll announce it later, but I just hope you guys can. I hope those who show up can take pain. I'll put it to you like that.
Yeah.
So just be ready.
Probably
for
not a
that
good
one.
idea for me to.
Just layer
I'm
it.
a little crybaby. Oh my god, Dale.
Yeah, you have anything else about to pull up?
I don't know. We had a really good time. We played like a card game. A while ago, Dale and I bought these cards called. What are they called?
The table topics.
The Table Topics. You can purchase these cards off Amazon, and they are amazing. Literally, I don't even know where to start. So it just kind of encourages conversation. So you ask these weird questions, like what does your future look like? Do you prefer this over this? It's just I don't know. I don't know, but it's a good conversation. It kind of just sparks conversation with random people, because I mean, this day and age, people don't really talk like that no more unless they know each other. But it's out. Social media is out. Like that's kind of running everything that we do. So holding a conversation dies pretty quickly because people are usually on their phones and they're doing other things. So that was the main thing that Dale and I wanted to do, was to make sure that we keep the conversation going and to make it as interesting as possible for couples, including ourselves and everything like that. So the table topics, they have a couple table topics, and when me and Dale does date nights, that's kind of our go-to, because again, we're still learning about each other as well, but that kind of it makes it interesting. It makes it like,
Yeah, it kind of enhances our date nights. in a
yes,
sense,
thank you.
'cause we are married. We do get tired of each other's perspective, and we want to hang out with other people. So it's just another voice to kind of see, hey, what are you guys doing to spice things up? So yeah, I thought it was dope, and I can't wait for the next one.
Yeah, me too. I had a good time.
So this is the end of our episode. We're almost at the 45-minute mark. I don't know how long these are gonna be, but I hope.
Babe,
you
when
watch.
is our date night?
Our date night will be sometime this week for sure. It might be Sunday, but yeah. Our last date night was what, 2 weeks ago?
Yep.
2 weeks ago, where we said we're gonna do something once a week.
And we really try. Like, that's one thing that, like, we hold each other accountable on that.
Yeah, so
I do.
she'll definitely remind me when it's time for a date night. But I do have something planned for this week, so I just hope that one works out. So
I'm excited.
anything else?
No, that's it.
So we'll see you guys next week.
All right. I'm going to the 3 kisses. I can't help it.
Get my face.
All right. Bye, you guys.
See you guys later.
Thank you.